Welcome students, I Dr. Muktak Vyas. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the introductory part of business communication. What is the importance, what are the objectives, 7 C's and the other stuff. Now I will talk about a very important component, that is the communication models. What are the communication models? A model is very important because a communication model, it helps in getting a relationship between all the variables. So, what are the models of the business communication? Just have a look. First model is Aristotle model. Aristotle model was the elementary model, and he has identified the 3 aspects: speaker, speech and audience. Like the 3 important components of Aristotle model is speaker, then speech and the audience. So these are the 3 vital ingredients of this particular model. So this was the oldest model of business communication. Now second model is the Shannon-Weaver model. Shannon-Weaver model is also known as a mathematical model because it identified the technical aspects. Shannon-Weaver model, and the various ingredients, or we can say various components of this particular model are: number 1, information. What is the source of information? How information is getting transmitted? Second is the channel. Channel could be a transmitter. Third is the receiver. Receiver receive the message. And is the destination. But in this overall communication model, there is a noise. That noise is known as a signal noise. So Shannon-Weaver model is a strictly mathematical model, and it identified the technical aspects of the communication: information, transmitter, channel, receiver, destination. So this is the second model. Now we come to the third model. Third model of business communication is David Berlow's SMCR model. David Berlow's SMCR model. Now, what is this SMCR model? S is the source. M is the message. C for channel once again. And last is the receiver. So these are the components of David Berlow model. Source is very important, like from where the ideas originate. Second is the message. What information, idea, opinion, attitude you want to deliver. Third is a channel. Channel is a medium. What is the path by which information will be transmitted. And last is the receiver. Receiver decode the message given by the sender, and sender encode the message. Now come to the last model. It's Harold Lasswell model. Harold Lasswell model. So this is a very easiest model. He has said that if you want to communicate to anyone, you have to see what you want to communicate, why you want to communicate, how you will be communicating, then when you will be doing that, and audience effect. If these questions are in your mind, there will be no problem. So this is the Harold Lasswell model. Like if you have answers to these specific questions, then you can be a good orator. You can be a good debater also. Like timing is important. Okay, a stitch in time saves 9. Same, to whom you want to communicate, what you want to communicate, why you want to communicate. So this is a Lasswell model. So these are the communication models. Now I will talk about the channels. What are the channels of the communication? So there are two types. First is the formal channel. Another is informal channel. Now, what is a formal communication? What is a formal channel? Before that, you should understand what exactly is a channel. It is a path or a medium through which information is transmitted in the organization. Now, the very important is the formal channel. It is officially recognized by the hierarchy. It is the official channel. And it takes place in the form of written communication. Notices, circular, letters, memos. Then we have office orders also. Then informal channel, it results from the social interactions. Social interactions, and it is not officially recognized. Basic difference between the two channels are the formal channel is officially recognized, informal channel is not officially recognized. Formal channel carries messages at a fast speed, informal communication carries messages, formal communication carries messages at a slow pace, informal communication carries messages at a speedy pace. Now in this particular channel, formal channel, we have a exact words which we want to deliver. In this we can use a slang language also. In the formal channel, there is no personal involvement, there is no personal warmth. But in the informal channel, there is a personal involvement, personal warmth. Now, what are the types of formal channel? It can be divided into three types. First is vertical channel. Second is horizontal. And third is diagonal or a lateral communication. Vertical communication means from top to bottom and from bottom to top. Vertical communication is again divided into two types: downward communication, upward communication. Downward communication means that your senior management want to issue some instructions, orders to the lower level management. That is a downward communication from top to bottom. Now, what is upward communication? Bottom to top. Workers, they give their grievances, complaints to the departmental heads, and then departmental heads give their grievances, complaints to the top management. So this is upward communication. Downward communication objectives are, if you want to give some particular training to the people, you want to give a feedback, you want to issue any policy, order, instruction. In the upward communication, there are suggestions, grievances, open door policy. So these two communication comes under one umbrella term, that is a vertical communication. Now second is horizontal. In horizontal communication, it takes place between the people who are at the same level or at the same stature. Like the production manager talking to the purchase manager, the communication between the middle management, top management. That is horizontal communication. The basic idea behind horizontal communication is to promote social relations, to achieve a coordination, synchronization. Like an organization cannot work if there is no proper communication between the people at the same level, at the same department. So the idea behind horizontal communication is to give us social relations, to achieve coordination, to solve the problems, to resolve the conflict, etc. Then we have a diagonal communication or a lateral communication. Diagonal communication is the communication between people in various departments with various people. It is kind of a zigzag communication, or it takes a part of a committee or a task force. Diagonal communication means like you are assigned a particular project. So you need to talk to another person. Like you are a production manager, you want to talk to IT manager. So this is a diagonal. Like you have to make a proper synchronization with each and every person. Like there is no particular protocol. Okay, so this is a diagonal communication where you have been assigned a committee or where you are a part of a task force. So this is a formal channel where no personal warmth involvement is there, but you can easily locate the source of information. Now come to the next, informal channel. It is also known as a grapevine communication. Why grapevine? Because you do not know what is the source of that particular grapevine, from where it originates. So, rumors spread through informal communication. So, it is not officially recognized, but it is required due to social interactions. Man is a social animal, so he needs to communicate with another person. Okay, it's not like that you will take the lunch with only those people who are in your department. No, that is not informal communication. Okay, now what are the types of informal communication, or we can say what are the types of grapevine networks? So let's have a look on the types of grapevine networks. So here are the different types of grapevine networks. So the very important is single strand chain. What is single strand chain? Like you are giving your message through the intervening or the interfering people in between. That is called as a single strand chain. Like we have a garland, or you must have played the game Chinese whispers. So in the Chinese whisper game, you give your ideas or you try to pass on your information to your particular colleague or a friend, then he will transfer the information to another person. So this is a single strand chain like this, through the intervening people in between. Now, second is a gossip chain. Gossip chain, there is no randomness. You try to want to make a gossip with whom you want to gossip. Like you are not particular, you are not a choosy person. You make a gossip, you make a rumor. So in the gossip chain, you try to pass on the information with whomsoever you want to. That is a gossip, like the fire of the forest. Now third is cluster chain. Cluster chain means that you deliver the information to only those people to whom you rely upon, to whom you trust, not all the people. So cluster chain is a very confidential, very secretive kind of a network where you only, like you can say that particular man or a woman, he has a secret. You only rely upon that. Now next is single strand chain, gossip chain, and cluster chain. Now we have a random chain or the probability network. Probability means that every item has an equal chance. Random chain based on random sampling. So these are the types of grapevine networks. Now, what are the drawbacks and what are the advantages of this informal communication? First advantage is it promotes social relations. It carries messages at a fast speed, but at the same time, it can be inaccurate, it can be fake also, and you don't know from where the communication has derived, from where the communication has originated. So this is the channel of communication. Now we talk about effective listening. So before starting another topic, effective listening, you should know what is listening. Effective listening. Speech is silver, silence is gold, listening is platinum. You can be a good orator if you be a good listener. So listening is very important. If you listen well, you will learn well. If you don't listen anything, you will not learn anything. Now, before starting listening, you should know what are the qualities of a good listener, or what is the body language of a good listener. Qualities of a good listener. He has to be focused. He has to be concentrated. Then his feet are still. Proper concentration. Mouth is not open, quiet. Eye contact and hands are still. So, if you want to be a good listener, you have to follow these particular qualities. Your body language. Nowadays, in 21st century, what happens? We listen only to reply back. We don't listen to understand. So, effective listening is important. If you can be a good listener, you could have more ideas, more grasping power. Now, the question arises, students, what is the difference between listening and hearing? Like, hearing and listening sound same or not? Just have a look how listening is different from hearing. Listening versus hearing. What is the difference between the two? Listening is intentional. Listening is for a particular motto, but hearing is unintentional. It is only a physical exercise, like somebody is speaking, so his words are coming into your eardrums. So it is more or less of a physical activity. Then listening is always focused. Hearing is not focused. Then listening requires more effort. Hearing is effortless. So, my dear students, as a management student, we should try to become a good listener, because as I said, every conversation starts if the receiver and the audience are a good listener. If they are not good listener, they will not understand anything. So, hearing is only a physical activity. It does not require any intelligence, but listening requires a proper knowledge, intelligence. Now, what are the different types of listening? Different types. So, here are the types of listening. First is appreciative listening. What is appreciative listening? Appreciative, it is for the amusement, it is for the enjoyment, where you are enjoying something, where you are relishing something. Okay, that is your interest area. You are appreciating, you are enjoying entertaining. So it is a kind of a casual listening. you are appreciating, you are enjoying, okay? It is your favorite topic. Second is empathic listening. What is empathic listening? Empathic listening means to have a great emotional support. Empathic listening means to look at the things from others' point of view. Empathic. Third is the comprehensive listening. Comprehensive listening means to understand something. Like suppose a maths professor or a statistician want to give some notes to you or any equations, you are understanding. So that is a comprehensive listening. You have to comprehend, you have to understand the things. And last is the critical listening. So critical listening is for the analytical part. You are evaluating something. It is also called as analytical listening, where you are evaluating something. Like in the talent shows, there are many judges, so they evaluate each and every contestant based on his strength, weakness, proper coordination, confidence, theme, etc. So that is a critical listening. You are evaluating whether you will accepting the candidate or you will rejecting the candidate. So these are the different types of listening. Now I come to the last topic, that is legal aspects of business communication. Legal aspects. See, communication is an irreversible process. Spoken words cannot be taken back. And today is an era of social networking, communication, information technology. You must have seen the heated mails, you must have seen the Facebook memes, etc. There is a war on the social networking sites. So what are the legalities behind that? So defamation. Number one is defamation. Defamation means you are spoiling someone's reputation. You are damaging someone's goodwill of due to your interest. That is known as a defamation. Like you are spoiling the image. It can be divided into three types. First is slander. Slander is the oral defamation. Like it is the defamation by the spoken words. Okay, because you cannot stop someone's mouth. You can stop someone's hand if he want to slap you. Slander means oral defamation through the spoken words. So it is illegal. Then libel. Libel is a written defamation. Like you must have seen between various political parties, film stars, there is a libel. Written defamation through the written communication. Like all the controversies revolve around this only, libel. There is a Twitter war, there is each and everything. And third is the calumny. It is through non-verbal communication or through the body language. Calumny means that you are defaming someone's reputation through the indecent signs or the facial expression, gestures, etc. Now, second is a fraud. This you know very well. What is a fraud? You are misinterpreting the facts and you are utilizing it for your benefit. So there can be so this is not a ethical activity. This is an unethical activity. Third, invasion of privacy. We need a privacy, we need a private space. Yes, like the common man. Common man he is very curious about watching what is happening in the life of film stars, what is happening in the life of the ministers, etc. So this is invasion of the privacy. It is a private life. Okay, you cannot, you have to make a proper balance between their private life and their professional life. They have their own family life, like which celebrity comes at the airport, what is the attire he or she is wearing. So that is something which is not to be taken very seriously. And the last is theft of copyrighted materials and indecent things. So no unethical things, no violation of the Copyright Act. So these are the legal aspects of business communication, because you know very well, you cannot take the words back. Spoken words are irreversible. So with this, I, Muktak Vyas, want to conclude that communication is the lifeline of any business. So we have to see what are the channels, what are the models, who is called as a good listener, and what are the legal aspects of business communication. Now in the next class, I will talk about the communication barriers. Okay, thank you all of you. Thank you students, and have a nice day.